We started with the t-shirts. Well, we started with the small logo, then we got to the t-shirts. Where is the idea for like the embroidery thing? Because I picked your brain about it initially, and that's something that I know a lot of people are like, I want to embroider my stuff. And when did you get there? When you were like, okay, I'm gonna move from just these t-shirts to what was the next step?
So I love that question because I feel like it tie into both things you just said, like with relationships, dealing with somebody you could trust, just the process. And I feel like, side note real quick, I really value how you was very deliberate, or what word I want to use, because I feel like you just said it, but just the way it was very specific. Like, we're going to set this up and we're going to, you know what I'm saying? Because, that talk is just like, intentional. Bam. And I feel like here, at least the environment I know is this, yo, what's up? Let's do something. Right. And it's like, when? And it's like, hey, we run into each other and it's like, yo, we got to do something. And it's like,
yeah, right.
So I love how it's just like, yeah, come on. Let's make it.
Well, I take that as a compliment. Don't lose your thought, but it's like, that's what everybody knows me for, is consistency and authenticity. So it's like, thank you.
I received that, no doubt. That's right. Yeah, so I feel like, so with that question, I feel like I already knew from the beginning I wanted to do embroidery, because just like I knew the things I like and I knew the quality I like, and it was just like, but for me also it's a feel for like the different, like you said, the different logos and different, depending on what the qualities of the shirts I'm using, the style of the shirt, and the size of the logo, so that kind of helped me determine.
Even the designs, you can't embroider all that stuff. It starts looking all weird.
Right. So that's how I was just getting a feel for whatever I was doing, designing at the time. So it was just like, but also I was looking for the right relationship where I can get my stuff embroidered at the time. I knew my end game is to like have my own, like we was talking about, have the machines in house with each other, and it's just like, but so that's so basically I started doing embroidery the first year because I found a relationship. Actually, I was working with my guy that's an artist, and we was in the studio, and when the producer I know got a long-term relationship with, he was just like, yo, they do some good work with embroidery. They're doing different artist stuff and stuff like that, so I went there and checked them out. So that's how I started embroidery, like within the first few months. It was the first year, though.
Damn right.
So
okay, and then because what I'm hearing a lot of is creative direction, and a lot of people overlook. I know in my journey, I've been a creative since I was about 23, 24. I'm 30 now. So it's been like 6 years since I've been fully like, all right, I'm going to be an artist and a creative. And then but what I started noticing about my journey was I have abundance of creative direction. I'm like, you can give me something, I'll go home, I'll be able to give you something back tomorrow.
For sure.
I started noticing that everybody don't have that. Right? The direction, you want to be creative, but then actually knowing how to carry that out and see it in your mind and know how to produce it when the time comes. So it's like, I'm hearing a lot of creative direction from you, whether it's like you was assisting and complimenting other artists on their journey, also creating the fonts, the intellectual property itself behind what the meaning of Rare Souls is. So it's like, where is the creative direction coming from? Right? Like, where do you find the inspiration or the motivation or whatever is the element or the characteristic that helps facilitate and foster that creative direction in you, right?
Sure. Yeah. Again, it's like, this is what I love. Like, I love just being. There's so many things I appreciate just with life. And I was just talking about this early in the conversation, like an hour before I came here. It was like, to artists. And it's just like my appreciation for small things, and like my appreciation for nature, my appreciation for just being, my appreciation for like creating, like seeing things I'm inspired by. Just even looking in this room, it's so, you know what I'm saying? We used to talk about Iverson. It's like, it's these things that, you know what I'm saying, when you just being, and I feel like looking to vibrate on a certain frequency, and it's just like, I feel like the higher, you know what I'm saying? You can just be and just like allow things to, like, truly listen and allow things to come to you. So I'll be inspired by it, just like everyday life. So for me, it's like, I just like to be still, take my time, and I'm only creating when I really feel it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I feel like I do a great job at like retaining information and like paying attention to everything around me. So when I see something that feels right, I'm going to process that. I'm going to retain it. And so it's things where it's like, I may have had creatively, something I want to do, but it's maybe been around for I haven't put it, it may have been 3 years ago and I still haven't put it out yet. But creating, I know at some point I feel like I will, but it's like, there's so many things stored in the
memory.
Yeah. So it's just like, I feel like just being connected to the time and just listening to myself.
Sounds like preparation.
You
sound prepared, right? It's easy to have creative direction when you're prepared to execute. So it's like you spend enough time preparing yourself so that when the time comes to execute, balls is rolling, everything going. Yeah,
absolutely. And then as things come up, where it's like now we're being offered opportunities where it's like, all right, you can vend here, you can vend there, or somebody may say, I need this specific piece. Can you create something for me? So with that, it's just like to me, it's this opportunity that builds into like always opportunity for you to go into that. Whatever department.
Has that ever like distracted you? I've seen people get distracted. You have your plan, you had your preparations, 6 opportunities come, and you're like, wait, that's the middle of March.
Absolutely, because it's like that's a great question. And I feel like yes, it has, because like I've been visualizing like doing collections for a long time. Wow, because it was like I understood where it's just like, and not even in the technical sense, but just like being more deliberate and like delivering something cohesive. I wanted to just see how that felt, you know what I'm saying, to do that. So with that, there's times where I got caught in just everyday life where it's like people, event here, event there, event there. I need to keep up with customer orders and I'm wearing these multiple hats on my own. Yeah. And it's like I look up where it's just like, all right, I'm going to go in now and it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to go in and just work on something creatively now. And it's like it might be a little window for that. And then I'm right back in the morning. Now I'm everyday life. I'm setting up, I'm working, I'm vending, I'm taking calls, and taking orders and keeping sizes and all the little tedious stuff. And so it's times where like, to me, it's like I'm at the tail end of like actually being more.
You said narrowing it down.
Being more narrow. Yup. So yeah.
And so I want to go backwards a little bit because like now I feel like the story is unfolding. Right. Tell me a lot. Right. I'm gonna say everybody says a little. Sure. Tell me a lot about the journey before the clothing, right? Like, who is Coup before the clothing brand? You know what I mean?
I like that. So, man, you said something a lot. So basketball was like my first. I feel like it still is. It's funny because one time I commented on I think it was Instagram, and said basketball was my vehicle, right? And one of my childhood friends said it still is. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're right.
Yeah, right. That's what I said earlier in the beginning. It's like, I didn't stop doing merch.
That's real.
I'm just in the process, right? Real. Yeah.
Yup. That's heavy. Yup. So this connection to basketball, just growing up as a child, it was like that was something that kept me away from everyday life. It's just like I'm fully here when I play basketball. So it was like rain, sleet, hell, snow, whatever. Yeah. I'm out here, outside, indoors, wherever I'm playing. So that was like, again, that's my vehicle. But it was like that's at the time, like me growing up, I spent a lot of time and just developing a passion for that. So. And I got to a place where I finished school out of Boston, college out of Boston. I was around like at the time like Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and dudes like they was there. Damn. And I had got some of them guys.
GOAT legends.
Yeah.
Too,
so basically, so I got to the place where a couple of those guys was like vouching for me, saying, "Yo, it's just timing, and you got it."
Yeah.
So this was like my vision of like getting to that level. So it's just interesting how I got to that level. And I always listen to my gut. Mm-hmm. And something hit me where it's like something that's kind of, I couldn't understand it. I'm confused. So it was like, long story short, I was getting these offers to play in different places. And me having an understanding of the business, I was a little older when I was out in Boston. I was like 23, I think, at the time, where I was finishing up like my last year. Yeah. And I was getting these offers. I understood the business. I understood my principle, my foundation. So it was just like certain things that just wasn't making sense to me. And I had like an attorney that was like working with professionals, a lawyer, entertainment, sports lawyer. He would just tell me, yo, have them send official documents, whatever they offer you. So I remember my first offer was like the Johannesburg. Okay. And it was just like, I'm hyped. And the lawyer like, yeah, have them send official documents. And there was things like that where they like stalling out and never send official documents. Okay. So he telling me like, yeah, this is
inside information, right?
Yeah,
like, I didn't know this is the process.
Yeah, so it was like basically they was trying to backdoor me. Yeah. You know, and so I was getting things like that where I wasn't budging. I'm like, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna keep focused and stay on my game. So it's just like I was running into numerous things like that. So I'm like, I remember having a conversation with one of the players from the Celtics. And we had like a conversation, and he like it hit me in a way where he was basically like, you know, it may have to be that way for you. Basically, like saying like you may have to
get backdoored.
And I'm like, nah,
we don't do that. Yeah,
nah.
He said, "Born and I'm Philly. I'm not even going for this, right?"
So we're talking, and it's just like we still in conversation. You know, I'm still here.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, you tripping? So I'm like, I'm gonna find my own way. I'm gonna find another way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was things like that. Like I said, things, and even a couple of guys sent me an agent. It was like, yo, this agent may or may not get with you, but here's his contact. Try to get with him. So it was just like a lot of that. And I was like, I'm persistent, and I'm gonna keep. So to me, it didn't really bother me. It was just like, damn, it's crazy, but I was persistent.
Taking notes.
Yeah, taking notes. I'm just persistent. And I had a D-League tryout summer, I think, after I graduated. I had a D-League tryout for the Boston Celtics NBA Development League team.
Yeah.
And I remember that, where it was a conversation where it's like you and this other guard, it's like the guys they're really looking at. The other guards just happen to have an affiliation with the coach of the Celtics. So things like that. And that still didn't bother me, but I understood where I was, you know what I'm saying? It was just like I was just running into different things. And I'm just like, I'm still persistent, but it was just like this feeling that came. And I'm like, something's off. Something telling me to go back to Philly. I'm confused. And I came back to Philly, and that's where I was placed. I feel like placed on a higher ideal where I didn't notice it, but it was just like I came back. I'm like, I'm confused. I'm like, all right, I must keep working out, and I'm going to start, get back to my reading because I like to read. And it was these two books that actually kind of set the tone for me going back and kind of connecting to where I'm from and bringing it all the way back up. You know what I'm saying? I remember reading like A New Earth and Celestine Prophecy. Okay. And it was just like they opened something up. I'm like, I see what's going on here. And it made me go back and reflect.
Can you repeat that book again?
So A New Earth, that's Eckhart Tolle.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And that was heavy for me. And then Celestine Prophecy, I forget the author name of Celestine Prophecy, but them two books I was reading like simultaneously at the same time. And
I'm about to get them. That's why I was like, I'm gonna watch this back so I can get.
No doubt. That's love. Yeah. So at that time, so then that's what made me realize, like, I see my purpose. I'm starting to see a different purpose, and basketball still can be my vehicle, but maybe it's not me directly playing. So even when I first was at the beginning of this, I'm still working out. I was going to the Bellevue gym at the time. That's where the Sixers used to practice at.
Word.
So I was going there, staying in shape, working out, playing against competition.
People at that level. Right?
Yeah. So, and I remember I had a foot injury. I had like this. I don't know if you heard of plantar fasciitis. It's like a real nagging, like on your heels, almost like a hill. I think it's hill spurs and all that thing. It's like this unbearable pain when you stop. You stop moving. Yeah. Right. So when you playing, it's cool. Yeah. But as soon as you stop, it's like crazy.
Okay.
So I dealt with that for 16 months. Yeah, so at the time, it was like, I remember one of my guys that played overseas, he was asking me to come to China to play. And it's the team that Marbury played for. You remember Stephon?
I'm hip. Yeah, now you got me. I'm like, what?
Marbury, my guy. So the team that he played for when he went to China, I was getting an opportunity to play for that team. Mm-hmm. And again, the business side fell through. It was like I had my passport stamped and everything. I was looking to go, and some funny stuff with the agent. Funny stuff just happened, and I was just like, I'm going to just sit out. They had my passport and everything. I had to cancel my passport and everything. They never gave my passport back. It was just like, I was just confused. So I'm just like, I had a foot injury. Never told nobody about the foot injury because I'm like, I'm going to go out here.
Right.
Yeah. But so I was being led in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And I finally started to see it where it's just like, all right, now I need to focus on, like, I had my family closely, like, my purpose in my family, like I'm the oldest child and my dynamic to them and just like my role with my family. It was just like I got to refocus on this foundation of like, I guess like the economic side, the wealth, the money side.
Yeah, right. Talk that shit, right.
Yeah, so it's like, I need to focus on that, so I'm going to just focus on that. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. So now I'm just like, yo, basketball has been my passion forever. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I don't know what direction I'm going next. But I'm going to be still and just be. I'm going to continue to be present, read, and just be. So it was like, that's where I was led into like working with my guy. I got my homie Official, childhood friend, his name Official, and he was super, super innovative, creative guy. And like, me and him he was working on his music. So it's like, that's how we started working on music at the time. And we both had the screen print. So we went to like Blick Art. We was working on the music. We was printing up the merch for the music. Yeah. And in that time, I already knew, like, I want to do some clothing when I'm in that space. Yeah. But it was like, at that time, my focus was like,
you trying to work that thing, right?
The music. And it was just like, I remember we went to you know, that art store, Blake,
Yeah.
Blake art store. So we went there, got a little screen, and it was just like, we ain't know what we was doing.
I was like,
No.
that's advanced. I'm like, went straight for the screen. I'm like, okay.
But look, we were in a basement trying to figure it out and press the shirts on, and we look up and there's like nothing on there. We like, all right, we're gonna do it a different way, cover the lighting up, and we let it sit for 6, 8, 10 hours, whatever. We go down, it's like a reflection of a logo on the shirt.
Yeah,
we like,
it's not.
yeah. So he stayed with it as I was like working on with him with the music, and then my other guy who was Kyrie, he was working with music as well. So I continued working with them with the music, and I just had clothing wasn't my focus yet, and it was just like working on other things, and it was just like it developed into like once I set the foundation musically, like with them, like putting out their projects,
Creating that system, that consistency, and that
yeah. And I think I might have mentioned to you like actually my guy Kyrie, his brother he's a director.
Okay.
He left straight from school, graduated, and just went out to LA and just like, I'm gonna just figure it out. And by this time, he maybe like 5 years out there, and he was ready to do his first full-length film. So I executive produced the film with him. You know what I'm saying? So this is just happening where I'm not seeing it at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just building organically. So that's how I
visual components together for when you hit that same lane.
Yeah.
You're not even knowing that
Right.
you're about to add visual elements.
Yep.
Right.
So now as I'm reading, and I guess I'm gonna throw out another book. It was like I was reading a book called Ancient Future
Okay.
that touches on the Hermetic principles.
Sheesh, that's it.
Yeah, and it was like that's what sparked Rare Souls. So
Wish
now,
I had
yeah, so,
that's what I knew you were gonna do. It's like
so now I'm just like that's hard. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna need this for. I'm like, that's hard. Let me write this down.
mm-hmm.
And then now I'm still working with them, and I'm just like, it's a lifestyle brand. I want to do the clothing. I'm like, now I gotta, as my guy Kyrie, I was still working with him and him developing. He was early, so then as he put his project out, I let him know. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna start working on this as you develop and be able to maneuver on your own.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start shifting and adding this clothing aspect, and that's what I did. So then when he came out with his first project, they came out simultaneously, basically. His first project and
the clothing brand.
And the clothing brand, yeah. So that's how it.
Yo,
yeah.
That's shouts out to the journey of knowing yourself enough to say no. Right? A lot of times we won't say no when we need to say no.
For sure.
And we take opportunities and they fall short or whatever. So, but it's like I've seen consistency in like you being able to be like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do. And a lot of people don't have that, so I want to commend you on that.
No,